So now that we've taken a look at how some of these utilities work, let's take a look at using one in specific to build up a hairstyle. So what I have over here are a bunch of hair curves. These were created in ZBrush, much the way we did in a previous module, and they were just imported in here. After I imported them, I just selected all of them, went up here inside of my modeling menu to curves, and I used the rebuild feature over here just to rebuild them. That way they had an even amount of spans each. So I'd like to now use these and convert them into hair curves. Or rather into hair guides, excuse me. So to do that, let's go ahead and first create ourselves a new description. So I'll come here to descriptions, create. Let me though first go ahead and select my hair geometry, create description, and we'll go ahead and call this maybe hairstyle 01. Okay, we'll keep this in the human head collection. We're going to go ahead and use splines, generate them randomly across the surface. However, I do want to switch this to placing and shaping guides. We'll go ahead and hit create. Okay, there's not going to be any guides there by default, so we'll want to go ahead and create those. So to do that, I'll go ahead and select these hair curves here. Give ourselves a little bit more space. I'll come here to utilities, and I can use this curves to guides. So they are curves, we just want to convert them to guides. We'll just jump down here and hit add guides. It'll take just a moment because there are quite a few of them. And you can see now not only are they guides, but it's actually deleted out the original curves. You can see here that was one of the options, delete curves. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this now looks. I'll go ahead and preview the hair. And we can see not too much of it is showing up. Now one thing I can do to just preview the hair and not see all of these guide curves is hit this little button here with a little eyeball on the hair, and that'll actually hide those guide curves. So we can see that there's not too many hairs in there. I'm going to go ahead and jump over here to my primitives tab, come up to the top, and let's go ahead and increase my density. I'm going to try maybe like 300. There we go, and you can see I have quite a bit more, and it doesn't look very good. And that's because there are so many hairs in there, they tend to just overlap very strangely. They create just very strange patterns. We need to go in and start cleaning this up now. So for starters, I'm going to drop down here and thin these hairs out. So I'll drop the overall width down, let's say to about maybe 0.4 or a little bit less than that. We'll go ahead and drop the thickness of the tip of the hair, and we'll also taper the hairs. All right, so they're all getting considerably thinner. Okay, the roots might still be a little too thick. Let's go ahead and drop the thickness of that root. Maybe take the tip thickness down a little bit more. Okay, so that's starting to look at least a little bit better. Go ahead and re-preview that. Now you'll notice that it's no longer previewing down here. It kind of got chipped off and looks kind of funny now. But when I hit preview here again, that's not coming up. That's because right now it's set to only preview the current description. If I wanted to preview the others, I can go ahead and choose all descriptions in the collection. And now I'll go ahead and update everything. They're coming in the eyebrows and the beard. All right, so we want to continue adjusting these hairs here. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to my modifiers. And let's go ahead and start by maybe adding some noise. Go ahead and add that in. And you can see already that starts to break up that weird pattern that we were getting, and things look much, much better. A little bit of noise can go a really, really long way. I think that the hairs are getting a little bit too thin. I'm going to go ahead and thicken them up. That's probably okay for rendering, but for the viewport, that's a little bit much. I'm going to increase that to 0.45 right there, so we just have a little bit more to work with. Okay, I think I'd also like to maybe add a cut modifier that'll shorten some of these hairs. Come here to modifiers. Let's go ahead and choose that cut modifier right there. There we go. And I'll probably increase this to maybe 0.4. There we go. Okay. So the other issue I'm having is that the hairs are kind of going all the way to the edge of that scalp geometry. And if you were to look at the original curves here, I'll go ahead and bring them back up, they didn't actually come down that far. I had them ending quite a bit sooner, but that's just the nature of how this system works. It kind of goes around that radius. So I do probably want to come in here and paint a density mask. So I'm going to jump over here to primitives and come over to my outliner. I'll probably hide right now my head model right there, so I just don't have to see it. Then we have the creepy eyes. We'll probably hide those too. There we go. make sure my hair geometry is visible. And while I work on this, I'm probably going to drop my count quite a bit. Oops, didn't mean to adjust the length there. I'll just go ahead and undo that. Let's give it 1 second to readjust itself. There we go. I'm going to just come up here to the top, and we'll drop this down to maybe 50. That way it just updates a lot faster. And I'm probably also going to set it to only update the current description. Okay, we'll just clear those out there. Let's actually clear all collections. There we go. And that way we'll just update this current one. Cool. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead, pull this out just a little bit here. Go right here and create a map. Okay, we'll do maybe 15. Hit create there. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and double click here to get my painting tool. We'll also go ahead and give ourselves a little bit more space. There we go. Get our painting tool, and I'll go ahead and shrink that down right there. Okay, so I want to make sure that I'm painting this black color. So I'm going to go ahead and paint with no softness at the edges. So just paint away the areas I'm not going to need. Shrink down my brush. And I know right here, I don't want anything. I know this is probably painting towards the back as well. We know that tends to be an issue here, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. You can also hide these hairs for a moment while I kind of do this here so it's not too obtrusive. There we go. So I'm just going to do kind of a generic removal of the hair anywhere near the edge, and then we'll go ahead and kind of feather everything back in with a softer brush with a white color. So go ahead and bring this around to there. Bring this around this way. There we go. We'll come up around the ear here. It's probably a little too much there, but again, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and briefly bring my hairs back. And actually, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, I'll go ahead and hide those again. And now I'll come in with a softer brush, some white color. I'll just come in here and just soften this edge out. I'll probably choose a smaller brush at that. There we go. Just kind of bring that over there. And of course, I'm being a little quick about this because we're doing this in the context of this video. You may, of course, want to spend a little bit longer to get a softer, nicer effect on it. Okay, we'll go ahead and bring that around there. Bring around here. Up there. Up around here. And also using a Wacom tablet can help quite a bit too. I'm just using my mouse right now. All right, there we go. And I can go ahead and maybe grab this dark brush again and kind of fix these couple areas where it's a little bit strange and off. About right there. There we go. And I'll grab again a soft brush, white color. I'll just kind of feather that edge a little bit. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and be sure to save this. We'll just hit save right here. There we go. We'll close that off. Let's go ahead and bring everything back. We'll come to our outliner here. We'll bring back our head model. And just Shift H there. Bring back the eyeballs. Let's go ahead and re-preview the hair. We can see that it doesn't come out to all those strange places. We'll probably want to bring it in a little closer here. I'll go back to maybe about 300 there. And what I can also do to kind of preview this a little bit easier, I can come down here, and just as we did before, I can go ahead and turn off tube shade. And that's going to be a little bit easier to see. And there we go. We've been able to create a hairstyle pretty quickly just using those curves. So in the next clip, let's take a look at how we can go ahead and further refine this. So I'll see you all there.